Welcome to the Lizard Life. I'm Elizabeth, Liz, or Lizard, depending on how you know me, and this is my life. So, as of filming this intro, it is still a couple of days before my classes start, but I look really cute today, so I wanted to film. So, I was thinking that I would draw that picture that I was talking about while I was cleaning in here. And I'll just do like a voiceover and I'll do that part after my first classes. And I'll just talk about my experiences with that because I'm taking 2 classes this semester just to get used to being in college. The first one is a math class, and the second one is a photography class. I'm super excited for the photography class. And the math class has kind of a funky, interesting dynamic thing to it that I will explain later. It'll be easier to explain later too because I'll have more information. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do this time. Let's go. All right. So I mentioned before that I had to take a placement test for the math class through the college. And like I was stressed about it for like a week, and then I finally actually took it. And when I went to go take it, it turns out I just needed to watch a couple videos talking about the different math classes available. And I could still take a test, but I could also just decide what class to take based off of those videos. So I determined through that my best option was to take this course that I'm in, which is basically like a refresher course of math that you should have learned in high school. It's for people who maybe haven't been in school for a long time, so they don't really remember a lot, or people who just aren't confident in their math skills for whatever reason. So I signed up for this class and was all ready, and then like a week-ish before the semester started, I got an email that was talking about the class, and through that I learned that this class is going to be actually split up into 3 different, they call them cohorts, which I think is amazing. It sounds like a group who's part of a conspiracy. I love it. So they have these 3 cohorts, and they're really just determined by how quickly you think that you feel comfortable getting through this course. So that can be 1 semester, 2 semesters, or 3 semesters. And the email said, like, the first day of class, we're going to just talk about the different cohorts and help you try to figure out what you think is best for you. Then the second class will kind of evaluate how you feel and like put everybody into one of the 3 cohorts. It's like, okay, that's a little bit strange, and I wasn't sure what to think about that, and was a little bit concerned about like, how do I know what course is going to be right for me? But then I was talking to a friend of mine, and she helped me feel a lot better about that, and reminded me that since I'm pretty decent at everyday math, like adding, subtracting, multiplying, stuff that people actually use in their daily lives, and also the fact that I'm not taking very many classes. I'm only taking 2 classes this semester and working part-time. Like, I shouldn't have too much of an issue doing it all in just 1 semester, which would honestly be ideal, because then I can get to the class I actually need for my degree quicker. So, the day before my first class, my mom and I looked at bus schedules, because I don't currently have a car. So my plan is to ride public transportation through this whole semester and probably the next one as well, until I can afford a car. And the public transportation system in my area is so complicated, and I was getting pretty dang stressed. But we were able to figure it out for the most part, and I wrote down my bus numbers and what times they should be at the stops and exactly what the stops are called and all these things. So I was feeling pretty okay about riding the bus. Well, the first day rolls around and I get on the first bus totally fine, waiting at the next stop for my next bus, and it came sooner than I expected it to, but I got on and I'm riding, and this guy who was also riding the bus asked the driver, like, do you have a stop on this specific road, like on the east side of this road? And the bus driver was like, yeah, it's coming up here. And in my head, I was like, I should also get off on that stop. But I was also thinking for some reason that this bus would go into the campus. So I thought it would be the next stop after that one, and it just wasn't. And I kept expecting the bus to turn, and it just wouldn't. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? So I got off the bus, like, way further west than I should have. But luckily, my mom lives close enough, and the campus is close enough that she was able to rescue me, and I still got to class on time. So that was good. So I'm in class. They're like, spent forever talking about the different cohorts and what they did, what they mean, and what you learn and stuff. They really were not encouraging people to go for the one semester option because in that cohort, they skip the first two modules. But the first module is just learning about the basics, which I'm already really, really good at. So I'm not worried about that. And then the next one, the second module is about fractions, which I am less confident in. But, like, they'll still do a review of those things, so I think I'm still fine just doing the one semester. I talked to a couple of people who were also in that class, and they were like, no, I think that the 2 semesters is the best and whatever. I'm like, nah, I'm pretty sure I'm totally fine doing the 1 semester. So that was that class. It was pretty boring, but I met some people who I enjoyed talking to, so that was good. And, okay, so when I was in Seussical the Musical, one night after one of the performances, a friend from high school showed up, who I was not expecting to be there, and turns out we are both in the same math course at the same time on the same days. So depending on if he goes for the 1 semester as well, we might end up in the same class, which would be pretty dang cool. It would be nice to already have a friend there. If not, like, I'm sure I can make friends with the people around me. But because of that, after this first math class was over, we chatted for a little bit, and he offered me a ride to the other campus where my photography class was. And that was super nice. It was great to catch up because we haven't really talked in years, so it was cool to catch up a little bit. So the other thing is that I had been to both campuses multiple times before for various reasons. Just a second. Anyway, so I sort of knew the layout, but I did not know where my classrooms would be exactly. So when I went and got my student ID, I found out where my math class was, but I wasn't able to get to the other campus before the semester started to figure out where my photography class would be. But that was fine because I had several hours between the two. So after my friend dropped me off at the other campus, I immediately started wandering the building, trying to figure out how to get to the third floor where my classroom would be. And I found stairs that took me to the second floor, but I could not find any that would go to the third floor for some reason. So I finally went back down to the main floor and asked the people at the Student Help Center, and they were like, oh yeah, go to the elevator over here, and it's at the end of the hall. So I went to the elevator, and the end of the hall meant the other side of the entire building, because it's all just one long hallway once you get past the first floor. So walking all the way down this straight hallway felt like forever, but I found my classroom and it was all good. And then I was starving, so I got food and hung out until it was time to go to class. But then I decided to use the bathroom before class so I wouldn't need to during it, since I had just eaten lunch. And that, I had just a few minutes to get to class. So, I walk down the hall all the way to the end of the hallway, and there's a sign on the door that says, we're actually in this other classroom, which was 40 classrooms away. I'm not even kidding. It was from classroom 203 to 160 or something like that. Ridiculously far away. But the teacher was really cool and totally understood people being late because of that, and he's going to have announcements on his class's portion of the school website every day so that we'll know where to go, because we'll be in going back and forth between the two classrooms. He was so cool, and I'm super excited for this photography class. Obviously, the first day we were just going over the syllabus and what's expected for the class and stuff. So it wasn't all that interesting, didn't really learn very much. But at the end of his presentation, he showed us this black and white grayscale photo of a reservoir in the mountains. It was beautiful. There was clouds in the back and stuff. Just this really, really gorgeous picture. And he showed us a bunch of different sizes and shapes of frames around this picture. And it was all the same photo, but depending on where the frame was at and if it was square or rectangle, it looked like different pictures, which is kind of an obvious concept, but I had never really seen it laid out like that before, and that was really, really cool. So I'm excited to learn about that kind of stuff, and I'm really excited to learn about telling stories through a single photo or a narrative. I'm super excited about that. And it was kind of funny because he told us that obviously in the next class, next time we meet, we're going to need to bring a camera, and we're also going to need to bring a thing called a gray card, which I already have used before because of working for the mall Santa / Easter Bunny photo shoot things. But that was kind of funny because I was maybe the only one in the class who did know what that was and had ever seen one before. So that was kind of cool, made me feel a little bit cool. Yeah, it was really fun, and I'm super excited to learn more. And here's the finished drawing that I was making. I love that it's a cute cottage surrounded by rose bushes, and then there's just this evil girl from The Ring. And that's my adventure of my first day of college. I had a really good day. It was really great. There were a couple of men who had audacity, but it was fine altogether. So from the second campus, I have to catch a bus that will take me to a train station, and then I have to ride that train to a different train station where I will get picked up by one of my parents. I mean, or I could walk if the weather's good and it's not too dark, because I don't really feel comfortable making that walk in the dark. I got on the wrong train. Like, I rode the correct bus to the correct train station, but then I got confused about, like, I knew I needed to get on the blue line train, but I got confused about which direction was going where, because most of the train stations I've been to have been oriented going north and south, and this one was east and west. And so I was like, I don't know, like, which one is going the direction I need to go. So I ended up getting on the wrong train, but luckily it went to a station that I'm very familiar with, so I was able to figure out that I was on the wrong station, or on the wrong train, and got off and waited for the one going in the correct direction to go. But it was all good. It ended up pretty good in the end, and I got a really beautiful picture of a rainbow next to a street lamp. Ugh. Only thing is, though, like, right after I took the picture, lightning flashed, and it would have been like street lamp, rainbow, lightning. Like, that would have been so cool. But, oh well, it's still a cool picture even without the lightning. That's all I have to say right now. I'm so excited to learn more and to, like, feel like a college student and stuff, and make friends, and just, life is feeling really good right now. And that's such a relief, because it's been really stressful and kind of depressing a lot recently. So it's really good to have this hope and excitement again. It feels really good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for being my friends. I love you guys so much, and I love that I have this platform where I can talk. You guys are choosing to play my videos and listen. Like, that just feels really good, because a lot of my life I've been the listener, and not always by choice. So, thank you. I love you guys. And, I'll see you in the next one. This is my first video filming in my clean room, and it feels so good, you guys. Like, there's so much floor space now. It's so nice.